It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to discuss Xerox, HP, and the two investors. And we all know the investors. Carl Icahn had a big interest in Xerox. He sold that interest back to Xerox last week. Warren Buffett bought a stake in HP. Most of that stake he bought in May of 2022. And over the last few weeks, we've seen Warren Buffett exiting that investment. As a matter of fact, this week I believe Warren Buffett will go below the 10% equity position in HP, allowing him to sell the rest of his position without alerting Wall Street. But they were both in our industry, and now they're both out. One out completely, one on its way. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to start with Warren Buffett. Those of you that study Warren Buffett, that know Warren Buffett, he's not a slot machine investor. In other words, he likes to invest for the long term. What's making him see HP is not a long-term investment? I believe Warren Buffett woke up and realized that he didn't buy an undervalued stock, as Enrique Loris claimed it was. He bought an overvalued stock, and now he's exiting that stock because he realizes it'll never be worth more than he paid for it. Ladies and gentlemen, what else could he be thinking? Because if he was in it for the long haul, if he really believed that Enrique Loris had a company with an undervalued stock and Enrique Loris and his team was going to take this company to a new level, he would have held on to his shares, but he left. And the reason he left, I believe, is because HP is going to have their worst year-over-year decline in the company's history. The reason he left is because he understands that HP stock was never undervalued when it was $35 and $40 a share. As a matter of fact, it was overvalued. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe Warren Buffett made the absolute right decision. And he will exit all of his interests in HP. Let's think about the activist investor Carl Icahn. He invested in a company called Xerox. And the reason that I'm a fan of Carl Icahn is because me and Carl Icahn share a vision. Back in 2017, I predicted that Xerox and HP would come together. I based that prediction on my imagination. I based that prediction on understanding what Xerox does in the marketplace, understanding what HP does in the marketplace, and I really had a vision. Boy, if those two came together, they could really disrupt the industry. They could disrupt it in so many ways. Because I knew that HP had all these compute products. And I knew HP had all these printer products. And I also knew that Xerox was the largest dealer to the end user in the world. In other words, Xerox delivers equipment, supplies the equipment, and services the equipment, and their footprint is bigger than anyone in the world direct to end user. And if they got together with HP, they could take all the compute products that HP sells, and they could deliver those to their end users. What a home run that would be. Because we all know, and I knew it as far back as 2017, okay, that Xerox would have to transition its deliverable. That Xerox would have to add additional services to those end users. HP, that product portfolio, would have gave them those different products and those different services. But what happened? Carl Icahn, he said, HP, we're going to buy you. HP, well, they neglected the offer. And the reason they neglected the offer is a simple reason. I believe it wholeheartedly. The leaders at HP were newly appointed. I believe they just finished hanging the pictures in their office. They probably just got off the phone with their parents bragging about the fact they got promoted. And here comes Carl Icahn and the team at Xerox trying to buy them, take over the company. They couldn't imagine vacating those offices. After all, they just got them. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe it was the egos over at HP that got in the way of what could have been a fantastic opportunity for both Xerox and HP. Let's talk about these investors' mindset. Do you really believe that Warren Buffett gives one crap about HP? Do you think he invested in HP so he could go to the board and say, hey, you better do something about your CEO because he's about ready to deliver you the worst year-over-year decline in the company's history? Hey, you really should start thinking about how you're going to deliver products into the marketplace where you can control that deliverable at the end user level. Do you think Warren Buffett knew any of that stuff, cared about any of that stuff? Hell no. He found some pocket change and he went and bought a chunk of HP, and he's realizing real quickly in only 16 months that the stock wasn't undervalued. The stock was actually overvalued, and he's getting out. When I think about Carl Icahn, this man had a passion to save a 100-year-old iconic brand. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever read the letters that Carl Icahn was sending to the HP board when Carl and the team at Xerox were trying to buy HP? The passion for that company jumped off the pages. Yeah, he's an activist investor, but he had a passion to save that 100-year-old iconic brand, Xerox. And he knew that if Xerox and HP got together, it would be fantastic for the marketplace. He knew that Xerox and HP coming together was a much better deal than Xerox being bought by Fuji. And ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about this numerous times, but there's still some folks out in the industry that don't quite get it. If Fuji would have bought Xerox, what would have happened? Xerox would have been focused on what Fuji makes. And what Fuji makes is print products for our industry. And Fuji would have had the largest direct footprint in the world called Xerox. And at the end of the day, Xerox would have not been able to transition into other services that have nothing to do with print. That's why, if Xerox and Fuji got together, I believe it would have been a disaster. We would see them in a position like we see the other OEMs, with big direct footprints. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm predicting right now that Konica is going to eliminate all their direct operations. These OEMs that make things can't go into the marketplace and sell things they don't make. That's why Xerox and HP coming together makes so much more sense. Because HP has all these other products that'll be relevant for a long time, right? Notebooks, compute products, all these products that Xerox could have added into their portfolio would have been a home run. I saw it back in 2017 and Carl saw that in 2019. But more importantly, these two investors had different aspirations for these investments. Warren Buffett, who cares? It was a bunch of pocket change. He dumped into a company. He realized after 16 months he made a big mistake and he's bailing out. Carl Icahn, activist, ruthless, whatever you want to call him, he had a passion to save a 100-year-old brand. Now let's think about what's happened since that didn't work. Well, HP, as I just said, they're going to have the worst year-over-year decline in their company's history this year. Could you imagine if instead of having the worst year-over-year decline in their company's history, they were out there in the marketplace with Xerox, the largest dealer in the world, delivering all their products to end users, servicing all those products to the end users, expanding the portfolio of products to end users? Wow, been a much different position than they are today, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about it this way. I put a slide together. When I think about HP, I think about commodities delivered with zero services value. HP has all these products. A lot of them they deliver through e-commerce, through tech, whatever. But they don't really have any service footprint as HP. They don't. That's why HP has been so adamant about trying to get into the dealer channel, that BTA channel. They've been trying for decades, and they fail miserably at it every time they try. Back in 2018, they bought Samsung. And we all know what happened with that, right? I mean, if you look at the revenue in the print business for HP, the revenue that Samsung gave them has completely disappeared since then. And at the end of the day, they didn't disrupt the $55 billion A3 marketplace. They still struggle at getting dealers to go into the marketplace and sell their products. Could you imagine, for 1 second, if HP and Xerox were together, how many products of HP, Xerox would be delivering to end users? When I think about Xerox, I think about value delivered through services. They sell products, supply products, and service products. Those products would change over time. But unlike Xerox getting together with Fuji, it would have been all about print products. Xerox getting together with HP, it's about not only print products, it's also about compute products. There's so many things they could have done together. Ladies and gentlemen, let me wrap it up with this. The bottom line, these iconic brands must redefine themselves, both HP and Xerox. Can they still come together? Who knows? If they do come together, it'll have to be driven by Xerox just like it was before, because HP doesn't have the boldness, HP doesn't have the leadership, and HP can never pull it off. But Xerox could. They could have pulled it off back in 2019 if it wasn't for the egos over at HP. How they define and approach end users is critical for both of these companies. HP doesn't understand to this day, and when I say HP, I'm talking about Enrique Loris, their CEO. When he talks about Xerox, like he's so happy that never happened, he never understood what Xerox would give them. He doesn't get it. He doesn't realize that what he's trying to do with the dealer world, he would have got overnight with Xerox and it would have been the largest dealer in the world. He doesn't get it, and he never will. That's probably why HP is going to end FY23 as the worst year-over-year decline in the company history, because the leader doesn't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, When I think about Xerox and their partner program, I went to their meeting in Miami, Forward Together. Has Xerox made some mistakes? Has Xerox made some decisions that made some of their partners mad? Well, hell yeah. How is it possible to make everybody happy in an industry that's going through a massive decline and disruption? And Xerox will probably continue to make some people mad. They will, folks, because our industry is in transition. Those of you that think we're going to transition this industry like tiptoeing through the tulips, you're delusional. You're not. When I think about HP and their partner program, I think about the most outrageous, overreaching contract in our industry's history called Amplify. When that contract came out, I've been very vocal about it. And at the end of the day, it's outrageous. You got Enrique Loris trying to strong arm his partners. Get data from all his partners and all the things that Amplify thing is. It's absolutely the worst contract our industry's ever seen. And that's why HP can't deliver through that dealer channel. But boy, if they would have got together with Xerox, they'd be doing it and doing it big. Ladies and gentlemen, I've talked about this off and on a lot, but I want to wrap it up this way. An analyst said to me, Ray, there's no way that could have happened because the culture at Xerox and the culture at HP were different. And a lot of our industry lives in delusion still. And I want to explain something to you. The industry's going through its biggest disruption, its biggest transition needed in its history. And through that disruption and through that transition, it is not going to be tiptoeing through the tulips. And I don't give a crap about a culture, one company or another company. When two companies come together, they create a new culture for the benefit of the end users. They create a new culture for the benefit of the end users. And anybody that believes that we're going to run around and run these businesses like we were doing in 1990, you're delusional. And if anybody believes that we're going to consolidate and come together and everything's going to be perfect, you're delusional. There's going to be pain involved, but it's going to take bold leaders. It's going to take bold employees that understand the greater good or the greater value, that succeed. Because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.